would like to kind of go over what we did and what I did to share with you all from my previous talk. This year, Master assigned us a topic called How to Bring Harmony to the Society by the Buddhist way. So what we have went through before, and my focus is on the second noble truth, what causes to suffer. So before we can bring harmony to the society and ourselves, we have to find out what's going on. What are the conflicts? What causes the conflicts that, eventually cause the suffering? So that's what we have been studying or sharing. So second noble truth is to find out the cause. Basically, there are three: craving, aversion. Both had a very good foundation, and guess what? Because we don't know what's going on. We call it ignorance. Don't worry about that. And most of us, we don't admit, what? You call me ignorant? Am I stupid? No, that doesn't mean it's in a negative way. It just states the fact. There are a lot of things that we don't know. Why? Because our sense bases are only restricted or confined. They come from. Before I was born, who am I? After that, where am I going? What happened to me after that? I don't even know what's going to happen the next minute. Am I going to stop breathing after I walk down? Not in a negative sense, like the master just explained, because we need to aware what is going on. Every single step, every single minute that we're breathing. Does that make sense? Good. So for the past talks, I focused on craving, our number one enemy. And you said that, I'm so good. I don't crave for anything. I am a good practitioner. Let me ask you one question. Let's go to the bank right now and transfer all your money to my account. How about that? Can you let go of that? How about, let's look a little bit closer. Let's go to your car. Who's got a Tesla out there? Can I have that? Craving, attachment. In that fun that we, from time to time, just give us a test. Okay? So, like I said, craving is our number one enemy. So we went through some terms about craving, Pali, Sanskrit, English translations. We did that. Then we come to the 6 pleasures, what we call the 6 fundamental afflictions: craving, aversion, ignorance, conceit, doubt, wrong view. So if we have time in the future, we can explore and study all of them. But for the time being, let's focus on craving. And everybody knows me, know that I love chocolate. And I'm diabetes. But I do still crave for chocolate from time to time. I try to restrain myself. 7 out of 10 times, I'm okay. But for the remaining 3 times, just don't show me any chocolate. So, and then we studied various characteristics about craving at certain level. Then we came to the very difficult thing to deal with. It's called nzhi. Now, nzhi, well, why are we here? Why am I, trapped into this, what we call the cycle of rebirth? We become, we stay, getting old, getting sick. Eventually, we start the cycle again. That's what we call the samsara, the cycle of rebirth. Nzhi, nzhi, nzhi. What is nzhi? This is pleasant to us, our feeling. Cool with air condition inside when the weather is hot outside. Warm when the weather is cold. Food when we are hungry. Those are very basic desires. But how about, I want a luxury car? How about, I would like to travel all around the world? How about go to a movie to entertain myself? How about having offsprings? That's not enough. I want grandchildren. Wanting, wanting, wanting. So, because those things pleases me, I have such a good sensation if I have those. Then the next one is that I don't want sickness. I don't want pain. Are you serious? You want me to sit on the cushion for 45 minutes? No, it's so painful. Are you serious that I want to depart from my loved ones? No. Are you serious that you want a bank account? No. Because those things that we don't like, so we pushed it away. In a sense, it's craving. But let's flip the coin. The other side of the coin is called aversion. I don't like it, so I push it away. So it's actually craving and aversion are the two sides of the same coin. Make sense? So the next one is, since we know now, what nzhi is, let's explore it a little bit more. It's a self-centered desire. It's an urge to get something. It's an urge to fulfill what we want. So here comes the bottom line. It's an urge to survive, to live. Like we just mentioned, there are two sides of the same coin, right? Life is so suffering. That's the fact, not negative, but fact. Then, how about if I crave for not exist anymore? People went through some kind of sickness to the point that they don't want to live anymore. So this is craving for non-existence. Without knowing, here comes the word ignorant, without knowing that even if I'm suffering so much from my present life, bodily or mentally, if I decided to end my life, it's not going to get the problem solved until we get out of this cycle of samsara. So tanha is actually the principal cause for the arising of suffering. Talking about existence and non-existence. For example, say we're so afraid of dying, even though no matter how much we suffer. I have seen people who are pushing to the extent of illness, but they still want to live. I'm not saying that it's bad, okay? I'm saying that, those are very common in this human life because of two reasons. One, where am I going after that? I'm not sure, right? Second is we don't want to let go. That brings us to craving again. So, and then tanha is one of the link, the eighth link, very important link in the 12 links of depending origination. Don't worry about that if you're not familiar with the terms, but when I look around, I think everybody here had heard about that. We will, go into that eventually. So what is the cause for all this craving to arise? It's because of this capital I, then extended to mind. This I is so important that every single time we see it, it's in the capital. So important. So what is this so-called I? There are actually two parts of it. And I believe that, when you were listening to the master's talk earlier, talk about this physical form, which is the part of this body. And then we have the mental process. We have feeling, perception, relation, consciousness, all together. These two parts together, we give it a term called the 5 aggregates. So that's for the first part, the physical form are actually, physical form, I'm referring to this body, this physical, this matter. And also, we can also, extend it to external environments. For elements, earth, water, fire, and wind. And they're, they each have their own characteristics. For example, the earth element sometimes refer to solidity. refer to hardness or softness. Its function is to receive, making a ground for all things that happen. So it also arises together with other physical forms. It cannot, it cannot exist by itself. It has to come combined together with the other elements. We also refer to extension. Say for externally, we can, like this eyeglass case, it is what we call, it is hard, right? It is hard. So, but the inside is soft. So hardness and soft, it's referred to the earth element. Physical form is not that difficult to understand. It is not difficult to understand. You know, some of them we can touch it with bodily sensation. We can see it with our eyes. Can't smell it, but you know, some of the matter or materialistic, we can actually smell it. So internally, it's easier for our six senses, it's easier for our five senses, it's easier to cognize those things. But then it's difficult to experience their characteristic. Okay, we can say that, okay, this is hard, this is soft, but if I want to put my eyeglass into the case, it is served as a container. So it's a receiving or foundation for something to happen. But that kind of receiving, that kind of characteristic, difficult to realize, to experience. Hard to explain. It's even harder to explain it in words. So those are some more about the solidity. Internally, what are the earth elements? We can see our skin, my nose, hair, arm, all those hardness or even softness. It's referred to as the earth element. But this is only very apparently, it looks like that. It's the function, it is the characteristic that we really need to poke into it, really need to, what we call, experience it. One example, if I sit for a long time, I feel my leg is hurting. There is some intensity on a certain part of my leg. And we call it pain or numbness. This is actually the function of the earth element that intensify at the time, at that specific time, at that specific spot of the body. But we can only realize, or we can only see or feel the pain. We call it pain, but it is the earth element that dominates. Hard to actually, you know, you sit there for 9 hours, then you will experience. Okay, hard to explain, hard to actually cognize it. So the next one is called water. Now, water is even harder. It's not the water that we see, that we drink. Externally, yes, those are the water that, for example, flood, that can destroy a lot of the environmental situation. But the water, the characteristic of the water, the function of the water is not just water, water, water. It's its cohesion, adhesiveness, binding, their function of it. Think about it. If I don't have water inside my body, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Our organs cannot be put together or bound together so that they can function. Cohesiveness is the function of the water elements. But then again, we cannot feel the characteristic of water. We know that it's binding. We know that it puts things together. We cannot sense it without eyes, without ear, without nose, lick it, smell it, even touch it. No way to do that. We just know consciously with our experience that things are sticking together because of the action or function of the water element. Hey, you guys are so smart. You know what I'm talking, right? Even though I don't know myself very thoroughly. Very difficult to explain. So again, maybe one of the sentences here from my research that will explain it a little bit more clearly. It's called, it binds molecules together in mass, make them rigid and make them function. Maybe that statement kind of make a little bit sense. So, what I want, like I said, it's the function that it's difficult to detect or digest. But then it has to appear to be something, right? Like the water outside, the ocean, the river. Internally, we can actually see or feel that, I have a running nose. I know there's something dripping out of my nostril. When I poke my finger every morning to test my blood sugar, I see blood in there. When I'm sad, I cry. Know that there are tears. Those are what we call internal liquid. But make sure that we focus on its function and its characteristic. One of the meditation technique is to be aware of the 4 elements. So why are we doing that? What is the purpose of being aware of all these 4 elements? Because we want to experience their rising, staying a little bit, ceasing eventually. What we call meditation in harmony. And it's very, very effective. So the next one is fire, and the next one is wind. Since I'm running out of time, I'll save that for my next talk. I prepared this talk from the beginning of this year's assignment. And I don't know what happened to me. My pages get, thicker and thicker. And I don't know when am I going to put an end to this topic. Hopefully by the end of this year. If not, then if I still breathing next year, then we might be able to finish this. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be. And I thank you all.